Hi, this is Brad with Copper Creek Cuts. Today we are removing some stone. 3 or 4 years ago I did a stone removal job and I swore I'd never do it again unless I had a machine, which I do now, so we'll see how useful it is. It's in a backyard that's a little hard to get to, so our first step is to make sure we can remove a fence panel. But I've got my Ventrac tractor with basically a little cargo carrier in the back to carry the stone. I don't have a power bucket for it, it's months out. And then a landscape rake, which I don't know, but I'm going to try and use to scrape some of this up. So this is the spot here, just a little spot we're going to remove. It's about 10 feet by 15 feet. We're going to take this fence panel out so the Ventrac can come right up in here and hopefully use the landscape rake to push some of that into a pile. So to take out this fence panel, we're finding out what the last picket that's on top of this cross member is, because this cross member is what holds this panel into this post. So we're knocking this one out. Sorry, spider, gonna mess up your house. And then I think this one. This is something that's a lot easier with 2 hands. Fence panel's off. Now I've got good access back here.
So one thing I will suggest, if you are going to be removing someone's fence panel, have a discussion with them beforehand that you're going to do that you'll replace any damage, that those replacements might not have the same stain that they have on the fence. You know, they'll look newer, so it's easy to see that something's different. Make sure they're okay with all of that. If they are, just go ahead and bring what you need to repair any damages with you. If I would have done that, I would have saved myself 20 minutes of trying to be really gentle with those pickets, and also about 40 minutes driving back a couple days later to replace the 2 pickets that I ended up breaking.
So obviously this isn't as nice as having a power bucket for this machine, but I think I ordered it March or April of this year. I ordered 2 things, and one of them's the fall of this year and the other's like the beginning of the next year, 2023. So this is just what I have. I'm hoping that this landscape rake will be able to kind of push some of those rocks, but we'll do a quick close-up and show you what it actually looks like. So here you can see we've got this dirt and this rock that's kind of sitting on top all throughout. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. It really helps if you have an edge to start at. Like if you were trying to just start right in the middle of the rock, it's a lot harder because you can't get down past it. But taking this fence panel off and having this dirt spot to start pulling from makes things a lot easier, because now this can get underneath it. If you have landscape fabric, is see if you can use it to work with it. Now this stuff has been in the ground so long that it just kind of crumbles and pulls apart. So it's not going to carry any rock for you. But at least by removing those stones, you've got another place you can rake in from without having to first break through that rock.
So this attachment that you see me using is Ventrac's Landscape Rake. On either side, the left and the right, there is a 10-inch extension. So by itself, it's 50 inches. I've got a 10-inch extension on each side, so I have a 70-inch width to work with. The attachment can be raised and lowered using the hitch arms of the Ventrac. The front hydraulics, the main hydraulics, will control the left and right tilt. So you'll see me at some points tilt this a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. You can position it so it's straight on. That will change the angle of the whole attachment. The other thing that it can do, if you have either a front 12-volt kit or a front auxiliary hydraulic, is you can change the height of the tines from 3 inches above grade to 3 inches below grade with that auxiliary hydraulic circuit or the 12 volt, which essentially lets you do the same thing. My tractor does not have the auxiliary front hydraulics. I just have that front 12 volt kit, which is actually pretty easy to install. I did it, I think, in about an hour one day. So that's definitely the way to go for me, because getting the front auxiliary hydraulics is much more expensive option. So this is going to be real time for a while so you can get an idea of what this machine does. Also keep in mind, this is my absolute first time ever using it, so I'm going to be painfully slow. So if you see anything wrong with the way the machine is performing, keep in mind it's more than likely my fault than the machine's. But yeah, there you go. The main reason we wanted to use this is so that it could push the rocks into a pile. These rocks get really embedded in the dirt and they take a lot of energy to get out. So the fact that they're just already raked into a pile and all we have to do is scoop that into our trash cans, it doesn't seem like it saved a lot of time and effort, but I can tell you 100% it did. We kind of pushed a lot of this stuff out. We're going to try and clean up some, see what we can collect, and then go from there. So again, one of the other ideas is that if we can eliminate having to carry those rocks, it'll be a lot easier. So we'll just scoop them into the buckets and then put the buckets here, take that back to the trailer.
All right, already hit a snag. That cargo carrier is so long that the wheels don't get to the ramp before the cargo carrier hits the trailer. So unfortunately, my goal of never carrying the rocks is not gonna work, because I'm gonna have to carry them from, which I mean, it's still better than having to carry them all the way from the backyard, but not ideal. Thankfully, once it's on the wood, it's really easy to slide. And now we just got to do that 50 more times. So we cleaned up as much as we could, and now we're bringing the Ventrac in for another round of scooping everything into a pile. There is a pool right behind here. There's the pump right behind here, so it's really cramped quarters. So I'm not able to use the Ventrac as much as I would like, but you know, it's still better than nothing. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's going to say, you should have used a power bucket. At what? Yeah, I know. I already said I'd love to have one, but that wasn't an option. So using this power rake still saved us a ton of manual labor. I'm really happy Kendall came with me on this one. As far as the economics of this one go, we bid this job at $500. I bid it sight unseen based on some pictures that this gentleman had posted in a Facebook group. He did a post in, I think, June or July, and asked, hey, I've got this area, will anyone give some bids to get the rock up? About a month later, I saw it again, and he basically said, hey, I posted this a month ago and haven't been able to get anybody to come out here or follow up with me. So I went ahead and sent him a message and said, hey, we can do it for $500. That number was, I'm still kind of guessing my way through bidding work with the Ventrac. I knew this rock removal was going to be a lot of manual labor, but I really wanted to get some kind of job so I could get some experience with this landscape rake. As far as the other bids he got, he had seen someone as low as $350 come through. I don't know if it was the same guy, but he said he didn't feel like that guy was reputable, and also somebody asked him for a ride to his house to take up the rock. So I don't know if that was the $350 guy, but we were at $500. He said the absolute highest he got was $800. So could we have gotten a little bit more money for the work? Probably. I did want experience on the Ventrac, so I mean, that doesn't put money in the bank, but that is one benefit of this job, is I got some more experience with this landscape rake. Of course, you know me, anytime I can make a video, I'm willing to take a discount on a job for that. So I don't think I bid this as high as I could have gotten, but it was a day I wasn't doing any other work. I'm mowing about 2 days a week and doing odd projects the rest of the time. So we took one of those free days and did this job. So it really wasn't something that, you know, oh, I wish I would have bid higher because I could have got more money at a different job. If we didn't do this job, we just wouldn't have made anything this day. You know, we'd have been hanging out at home doing schoolwork with the kids. I'd been playing around on YouTube, watching reviews of boats or something. I don't know. So I'm still happy the way the job turned out. The client was very happy. I really like the landscape rake. I can see its appeal, especially for something like a gravel driveway. So, you know, maybe you pay somebody to deliver and dump the gravel and then use the Ventrac to spread it. That would be a really good job to have, something the landscape rake would be really good at. But at least as far as scraping up old rock, the only issues I had were because the ground was uneven. Sometimes I got a lot of dirt in these piles. So you'd have, you know, one side of the landscape rake pick up a huge amount of dirt and rocks, and the other side wouldn't pick up anything. But that's not the landscape rake's fault. That's just, you know, because the ground was uneven. But again, I think this is the third time I've said it. It saved us so much manual labor from having to use a hand rake to move those rocks from where they had been sitting for the past few years into a pile that we could very easily scoop into some buckets.
We left our house around 8 o'clock in the morning. I believe we got back around 1 o'clock. So that's 8 to 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. So that's about 5 hours. Let's just say 10 hours of man labor, since there were both of us, right? So 50 bucks an hour is really not that good for this kind of work. So like I said, my bidding on these jobs is not something you would want to imitate. Then you've got to count in the other hour I spent driving back to install those 2 fence pickets. But it's a good job for us to have. Good practice, good experience. 500 bucks is 500 bucks. I'm not going to complain about it. Another benefit of this job, some time ago we took down a deck and swimming pool that had been in our yard for some time. It was there when we bought the house, but we just weren't using it and the deck was starting to rot. We want to put some type of concrete slab there, so we're going to have to fill in those low spots. So this was also some free fill for us. I had to spend about 3 hours when I got home moving this stuff from my trailer to the low spot in the backyard. So that was also another, I don't know if you want to call that a cost or not, but the disposal of this rock would be something you would have to factor in too if you wanted to bid a job like this.
Power bucket would have been really nice. I'm hoping 2 more loads of 3 trash cans. Then we'll do a final rake, probably another load after that. Put the fence panel back, clean up the driveway, and then we'll be done. So I doubt it'll show up on camera, but we got a lot of rain and, well, yeah, it's not really showing up. I feel like I'm sinking into this ground a little bit with just my, the weight of my foot, but this machine, I've said it on a lot of the times where I'm doing wet stuff or soft stuff, but having these 8 tires really helps. And I don't know if a regular tractor would have been able to get back here, with a power bucket without messing this up, or this turf. This turf it's compressed, but you see it's not ripped or torn, and there's dirt from the tires that's deposited on top. But once it rains, that'll go away. So I think if you had a Bobcat or a regular tractor like a Kubota, and you were trying to do this today, at least in these conditions, you'd make a really big mess. Whoa, you got 2 you're getting faster. I don't know how that's possible. No, you are.
You took a little bit longer.
Maybe you're not getting faster, I'm getting slower. Is that it? Now, unfortunately, I split both of these pickets when I was pulling them off, so I'll have to come back and replace these, but I'll bring them home. I've got fence pickets at home, so I'll bring these so I can cut them to the right size and then come back and replace those.